Hello, welcome to this tutorial. I'm Morris Dimba, and today I'm going to show you how to add more details on your drawings that you have generated in Tekla structures, and you intend to add more details on your drawing, like giving more details on your drawing, like description and adding more dimensions. And Tekla structures drawing area, like in this case, it doesn't have so much options for adding more details on your drawing. So what we are going to do, we want to export this to AutoCAD so that we can customize it or add more value or add more details to this drawing. Now what I'm going to do first is to change the scale to 1:1 so that when we export it to AutoCAD, it is the way it is, or we can just measure it directly. Now I'll just double click on this on the first drawing here, and just go straight and convert that to 1:1 to scale, and I'll click apply and accept that. So what I'm going to do, just click on that and drag, take it aside, and click on this also, double click on this also, and change to 1:1 scale. That's it. Apply and accept that. Just drag and pull it aside and double click on that and change this to 1:1 scale, and make it 1:1 scale. Now another trick here comes in that when you do your export, you will only be able to see whatever you've exported if everything is within the title block or within the border. So anything outside the border will not be seen. So what we are going to do, we want to make this border look bigger to define the boundary around all these drawings that we've generated. Now what we are going to do, we'll just make it bigger, make it slightly bigger. So we'll double click on this and come to layout. We'll come to layout. Let me just double click on it, just double click on that, come to layout, and we'll come to specified size, and we can just type whichever number. You can just type maybe 5 meter right there, because we want to cover all our drawings. Just make it something bigger, and you can feed that there, and just go ahead and click modify, apply and accept that, apply and accept that. And if you come in, we'll find one drawing is inside, or all of them will fit inside. So you just drag this, you just drag that and put it inside, and drag that and put it inside. Just close whatever, just drag that and put it inside right there. Now once everything is within our boundary, within the boundary of this border, we'll just go ahead and click, because don't save, you will only save, we can't save it because the title block and this borderline is not standard. Now I'll come here and go to export, and I'll give it a different name, just give it a different name, AutoCAD detail, AutoCAD detail. That's it. And now next step is to remember the name of this model, because this is where we'll track down the exported format of DWG. Now I'll go ahead and click export. I'll go ahead and click export. That's it. Though there's some options that we need to do, and just give it a default export. Now I'll just close that. Now once I've exported everything there, I'll go ahead and track my folder here. I'll come to Tekla structures model, then I'll come to new truss. I just go down here under N, new truss. Anything new truss will work much better for us. Here it is. Now we'll go to plot files here. Now under plot profiles we have our DWG, or the exported drawing. Now I'll just double click on that and open it. We'll give it some time to open in AutoCAD. Okay, here we are, and our drawing is in AutoCAD right now. Now the next thing we are going to do, we'll just get rid of our Tekla now, because we want to just economize on the resources of our system. Just close AutoCAD, the Tekla now, so that we remain with AutoCAD only. Now I'll close that, then zoom out. Now this is what we have with us. Now I'll just go ahead and trim whichever parts that I don't want. I'll right click. First of all, I want to trim. I want to trim the unwanted parts, so I'll just get rid of that. Just get rid of the parts that you don't need. Just trim them off. Just trim everything you don't need. Just delete that. Just delete any part that you don't need. We need that part. Just trim any part you don't need. Just go ahead and remove that. Trim every part. Remove that, remove every part, and remove that. Make sure you've combed your drawing nicely. We'll remove that one, remove that, we'll remove that. You just take your time and comb it. I'll remove that, I'll remove that. So that's it. And now we can just go ahead and start maybe putting our dimensions here. Just remove that. Remove any unwanted dimensions or any descriptions that you don't need. You just get rid of it. Just remove that. We don't need any of that. Just remove that one. Remember, now we are in AutoCAD, and AutoCAD is where everybody started from. And let me just remove that, get rid of that, and get rid of this also. Just trim out the parts that you don't need. Just trim that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Trim everything so that you come up with a very neat thing, or a very neat drawing. Get rid of this. Next is that. Get rid of that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that. This 92:17, we'll just leave that just to verify that we are on 1:1 scale. So let me just extend this so that that one meshes or connects up with the other part. Delete that also, and trim that. Make sure you trim everything you really need to get rid of. Let me get rid of that, let me get rid of that. and do that. Trim whatever you don't really need. I don't need that, and I don't need this. Just trim any part that you don't need. We don't need that. We don't need that one also. We don't need that. We don't need that. So we just used Tekla structures to do this, the truss for us, and we need to trim off this one because we will not be able to see the inside part of this truss, of this part I'm getting rid of. Also, I'll trim this. And get rid of that. Come to trim, and I'll trim this. And then trim that. Trim that one also. And trim this one also. Get rid of that arrow, and we have our truss in place. We can as well continue getting rid of parts that we don't want. Perfect. Now what we want to do, just to place our dimensions, we can get rid of that arrow right there, and we have this in place. So I'll just do one, so the rest will just be simple, and you can do it by yourself. Let me just get rid of that. I'll leave this number, I'll leave that dimensions, so that it acts as a confirmation that our conversion of 1-to-1 scale is real, and it's possible to do that. Let me just get rid of this. Get rid of all this. Get rid of that one. Then don't forget to save your work. Now from here we want to start placing our dimensions, and I'll start from this end, from this far end, and I'll stretch all the way to this point here. Now I want to get that dimension here, maybe on that part. I'll right click, because you can't see whatever the dimensions we've just pulled on, because we've not set up our dimension style. Now I'll just press D there and press OK. Then I'll drag that and come to modify here. I want to set up my text style. I'll give it 50 for the time being, so that I see the text first. And arrow, I can use, let me use the arrows or the oblique. Arrow size, I can give it 50. The extension lines, that one can extend by 30, and this one also can extend by 30. Text height, we can give it a try at that, so that we see briefly what we have, and this is what we have. And you can see it's 9217 actually, which matches this, which confirms that this is 1-to-1 scale, which we've actually done. So just press D and press enter, so that you continue modifying your dimension style. I'll come to text first, so that we feed in the appropriate text, and I want to use U light right there, and height, I'll pick that and click OK, and click OK right here, and I'll click set current, and this is what we have. Still, we'll go ahead and continue modifying, because we can actually see whatever we are working on. I'll come to text, and I'll click align with the dimensions, and I'll put it above with a little bit of offset of 10 millimeter. Above that, you can add 15, or 20 will be much better. So when I go ahead and click set current here, you can see we have that, and you can double click. We can go ahead and round off. Just press D, and we can come to modify here and come to primary units, and we just use 1. We don't need any decimal, and we have 209217, which matches the one that we pulled on from Tekla structures. Now this is how it looks. Now this is 1:1 to scale, so you can add more dimensions here. So I can go ahead and make my drawing more pronounced by increasing the size of my text. I can pull it to 100, and my arrow size, I can pull it to 100 also, and I can come there and give an offset of maybe 50 right there and 50 right here, so that everything be visible and more appealing. I'll come to arrow and look, take a look if you need to adjust anything, then click OK, set current, and that's now how it looks. Now this is our setting out points. Millimeter, set out points, setting out points. Of our truss. And we can go ahead and pull another set out points from that spot and bring it somewhere here, and we just drag that aside and pull this to that position and bring it somewhere there, and we can give some information right there. Set out points, set out points, or setting out points. That's it, and we have that in place. Just drag that aside, and this is what we have. So this is how it looks, and I'll come here and I want to get this distance from here, from there, or all the way from the edge of that plate to somewhere here, and drag that down and pull it to that point, and pull it from that spot and go all the way to the same position right there, and put it right there. So we can go ahead and drag this, just drag that down, drag that somewhere there, or continue dragging that down so that we give it some neat dimensions right there. I'll escape that. Remember, we are now working on AutoCAD. We've pulled this all the way from Tekla to AutoCAD so that we can add more dimensions inside here. I'll leave it right there and come here and snap maybe from that spot, and I want to snap right there and pull it to that. Right click, and I'll do the same thing here, and I'll snap, just mouse over here and you get a midpoint, and just mouse over here, you get a midpoint here, and you pull it and place it right there. Then escape and repeat that, then snap on the midpoint there, and we'll snap right here. Just pull it down and drag that, take it down here, and that's how it looks. Now your drawing is growing and we're adding more details here, so let's snap at the midpoint there and snap at the midpoint here and drag it aside and place it there. So this can be one of our setting out points. Just type millimeter, and this is another set out point. Or points. There we are, and this is how it looks. We can add more details here by adding more dimensions on our drawing, right, like this, and we leave it like that. Right click, and we can add more dimensions here. Just pull it to that spot and you add more dimensions. There we are. Just drag and place it right there. So this is how it looks. So you can go ahead now and get rid of this, because I've just showed you how to do one. So the rest you can do by yourself. You can get rid of this title block and use your own, or you can enlarge this material list here and make it slightly bigger. You can scale that, make it straight. You can scale this, make it bigger like that, and try pull it down like this and convert this text to real text, because now if I double click here, AutoCAD will not detect whether these are real text. Now what I'll do, you just come to Express Tools here and come to Convert to M-Text. So if I click on that, just enter. So when I double click, Tekla, now AutoCAD will be able to read this as a text, and you can give it a different text style, and you go on and do the same thing. Just come here and convert all this to real text and double click on that, or you just come here and try to match everything. Just click and try to match everything there. So I've showed you how you can do that, or you can just use table, and you can feed in your table here, and that's all, and you can pull in your table there. That's how your table looks, and I'll show you this next time. So this is enough for today, and thanks a lot for watching this video, and I think we'll meet on the next presentation. And this is how it's done, and don't shy away, don't just ask anything, I'll be able to respond back. So this is how it looks, and you can get rid of whatever you don't want by deleting anything. So let's just close this by chamfering this and that is closed. So we have our material list inside here, of which we can go ahead and even pull a different title block somewhere that we created, and we use it here. We just select everything so that when I pull it, we'll be able to use this appropriately. Perfect. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and let's meet then. Bye bye. Thank